production. Now to your host.
Hello, motherfucker, and welcome to another edition of the seventh inning. It just doesn't work without Josh. The stretch. My name is Logan. I am your host as always, and with me is our regular guest, Ryan from BSing Sports. Ryan, how are you doing? Not Brian.
We're great. We're great. Yeah. I mean, we could be better, but we're great, if that makes any sense at all.
We could be better than 1-0. But, it's fine. We're fine.
Yeah. It's okay.
We are watching game 2 of the World Series. You might have heard of it. Philadelphia Phillies have taken a 1-0 lead over the Houston Astros. Great game last night. Don't you think, Ryan? Or do you think it was a mediocre game?
I mean, obviously I liked the result of it, but there were parts that I liked and parts that I didn't. One of the parts I really liked was the JT Realmuto home run in the 10th. I loved it so much that I took my phone and spiked it into my living room ground. And then now it looks like this.
Oh, geez. I thought you were lying about that.
No. I'm kind of glad that it's like that. So now I can prove to people, hey, I am not in fact lying about this, but it all works just fine. But yeah, no, I like Reese Hoskins bat slammed my phone straight into the ground. Like I was super stoked, and I didn't think about any sort of aftermath that would come with that, as are 95% of the decisions in my life. So
well, that's good. Hopefully, maybe you can start a GoFundMe and to have your phone fixed.
Only if they win the World Series. If they lose, but you know what? I'm just happy that the Astros aren't going to win in 4 because fuck Kyle Tucker.
Fuck Kyle Tucker. And speaking of fucking Kyle Tucker, Darren, how are you doing?
What's up, boys? How are we doing? Long time no see.
I know, Darren.
Darren, I'm glad you're on tonight because I have to talk to you about the very sad news that happened today.
Yeah, that would be interesting to talk about because I'd like to, if you're going to go where I think you will, I won't mind for a little bit.
Yeah, well, why don't you go ahead? And for those who don't know, Rob Manfred, I think, said today that he does not think the Athletics are staying in Oakland. And
I don't know, man. I saw a lot of people on Twitter that are pretty passionate about it. I've been doing it for a long time, and they still think it's just another kind of a ploy, just another little bait thing by Manfred to try to get the thing sped along faster because there's only thing, they're trying to raise the money as much as possible. They don't want to leave the taxpayers screwed like the Rangers did before. I still think it's hope until the commissioner to me doesn't mean that. Everything is the owners, right? So when the owners say it, I'll take it more serious.
Yeah. What about the new Las Vegas logo that they're trying to put with the big elephants?
I think you go right down.
Oh, yeah, I saw that.
Screw you, you were bringing it up.
I saw on Twitter.
You know what I mean? Like, it sucks, dude. Like, it's one of my teams. I went to games. I went to all those games for like years, and it's frustrating to see like that happen to this. I don't know. It's just frustrating.
Who did you say your favorite player was growing up?
Miguel Tejada.
Oh, it was Tejada. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, because we bonded over how much we love Tejada.
Yeah.
Yeah, even though you left him off your '90s team, Logan.
I forgot he was a '90s player. I only think of him in the 2000s.
He came on late in the '90s.
Yeah,
like '98.
So I forgot. But
what do you guys think? Don't you think it sucks that the team has been there 60 years? I mean, I know we're here to talk World Series, but doesn't it suck as baseball fans do that? Like, you're screwing a fan base over too.
I think Ryan still feels a little hurt that the Phillies left or the Athletics left Philadelphia, 100 years ago?
Oh, yeah, funny. Dude, I was real sour about that for a long time. I thought the 30s we were rebounding, man, coming back from the World War I. We were gonna have some good years there. No, we relocated. Unbelievable.
That's hilarious.
But Las Vegas is where everybody's going. Tom from Quincy.
What's up, guys?
What's up? It's been a while.
I know it. I apologize for not being able to hit the last few with you.
Oh, no, it's totally fine. How are you been?
I'm doing all right. How you guys doing?
Pretty good.
Starting off hot with the spam comments.
Oh, nice.
Well,
Find your love in U City.
Oh,
I'm gonna delete it unless you guys
Is that
want.
is that better luck for the Astros or the Phillies? The spam.
yeah.
Listen, my
What's the
my
difference?
chakra is in the other room, so I'm gonna have to. Speaking of which, Kyle Schwarber is out already in the World Series. I guess we should talk about the World Series a little
I think
bit.
so.
yeah.
Well, in a World Series live reaction, Framber Valdez it's really hard that he's the second best pitcher on the Astros rotation is taking the mound tonight. Tom, what do you think of this World Series or even the playoffs so far? Since we haven't really talked to you.
I'm gonna be totally honest with you. I haven't watched a ton. The way the Sox season ended just put me in a sour mood. So I haven't watched a lot. I pop in here and there, I had a hard time because I don't really like certain players in baseball, and they all have to be playing for the teams that were left at the time. It was the Final Four, I think, the last time I was talking to someone about it. And although I want Philly to win so bad, right? I know, right?
Me too,
Right.
buddy.
The only thing, and I know that I don't want to offend Ryan. I'm not a Bryce
I'm
Harper
offended.
guy. I'm not a Bryce Harper guy, so I don't really care for him. So I'm like, I don't really want to see the guy win. But then at the same time, I'm kind of like spite fan for Dombrowski and Schwarber. It's so simple and stupid, but at the same time, like Dombrowski's taken 4 teams now to the World Series. And he gets ripped to shreds up here about it, how he supposedly destroyed the farm system and all that stuff. So I want Philly to win in the fact that I can't root for the Houston Astros ever. I just can't do it. I don't have it in me to do it. And they have Bregman, who's like the biggest prick ever. But his talent is phenomenal. He's a great player. I just hate to see guys that I despise win. So I'm going Philly. I'm praying it's Philly because I don't want to see Altuve trying to hoist the trophy up.
Bigger than he
Oh.
is.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
He's a little
I
fella,
understand,
man.
I understand the
Jesus.
Harper hate just because, like, when he was young, he was just that young and childish, real bad attitude. Thought he was the shit, but even his last couple of years in Washington, but especially since he's come to Philadelphia, he's grown up a lot. He's embraced the role as the leader in Philadelphia, not just of the Phillies, So he's definitely changed a lot from his younger years. But yeah, no, even in his younger years, I was like, dude, this fucking asshole.
Yeah. I mean, he had nowhere but up to go from there. You know what I mean? He's just, I don't know. There's just some of those guys who just rub you the wrong way. I don't usually care. Can they play is how I usually think. So for me, to make me have such a strong opinion of you beyond what you do on the field, you really got to suck as a person. So, there's a few out there. There's not many, but there's a few where I'm like, ugh, whatever, man. You can be the most phenomenally talented guy in the world, but when you come off as such a douche, it rubs me the wrong way. But I like to hear that he's, grown up. He was a young buck when he came in, so he is talented as hell, though. I'll give him that. But I'd rather Schwarber because he should be in Boston. I'll spite root for Philly.
The thing about Harper though was that you have to imagine 12 years old, he's already being interviewed. When he's 17, he's touted as the biggest prospect, and he's not even out of high school yet.
Yeah.
He doesn't go to college.
He graduated high school early, nonetheless.
Yeah. And you would think you kind of got to think, man, he should be a bigger asshole. you think about A-Rod. A-Rod was the biggest dick on the planet, and then all of a sudden, still, and he wasn't even touted as high as I don't know why I'm saying touted. as high as Harper, but it's just weird. Like I was thinking, man, Harper should be a bigger dick, like a Justin Bieber type, honestly.
that's next level dickness if you go
Yeah.
to the Bieber level. So, but no, it's just that for some reason I don't know. There's just
I wasn't calling you out. I was just like, it's weird. Like he should be a bigger dick, honestly, with how good he is.
I think part of the reason was, pretty early on, he lost like that title to Mike Trout, who was in the same draft class as him. Like Trout came up and was instantly the best player in baseball, like by a significant margin.
Back when he cared about defense too, he used to have all those great jumping plays. And
to be fair, he should have probably won a Gold Glove or two early in his career. And at that point, like I'd have gave up on defense too. Like, what more do I got to do? Okay, I'm never winning a Gold Glove. Fuck it. Like, whatever.
Exactly.
If you guys remember when he first came up too, like to Tom, my name is Darren, but it has to be Tom Darren before. There was a lot of players on the other teams that felt that way because I believe it was Hamels that pegged Harper famously, right? That like kind of one of his first at bats, and then Harper, I believe, maybe stole second and got home.
So it's funny you say that. Somebody said earlier today that Hamels pegging Harper was the passing of the World Series MVP trophy because Hamels won it in 2008, and people were like, Harper's going to win it this year. I thought that was pretty funny.
No, I just, there obviously that was the perception of him coming up, though, because players did have that. Like you forget over time, but he was perceived, pretty arrogant.
Yeah. I only remember. Oh, speaking of the devil,
yeah,
Bryce Harper is up.
Yes,
Reese Hoskins walked. Is he now your favorite player on the Phillies, Ryan?
He's never going to be my least favorite, but I mean, his like Pat Burrell-esque slumps. I don't know if you guys remember Pat Burrell, but he used to just go in these massive slumps, and they were horrible. I mean, he started out that World Series in 08, 0 for 23. So, but he just has these massive Pat Burrell slumps. It's like there's two hanging sliders in a row, man, and you watched both of them. Like, what are you up there looking for? Like, you're not even swinging the bat at good pitches. Like, if you swing and miss it, all right, fine, at least you're trying. But, like, what the hell are you looking at? And, like, okay, if you're up 2-0 and you see a hanging slider, fine, you were looking fastball, I can buy it. If it's 2-1 and you see the same exact pitch and you don't swing at it, like now I got a question, like, what are you doing at the plate? Like, what is Kevin Long doing with you in the batting cages that you are not swinging at that pitch?
Pat Burrell, great name. I think I heard that one in a while. He came over and really helped the Giants over here. He helped the Giants win a World Series that first time. He got red hot when he did.
Oh, speaking of the Giants, did you guys see this thing from I think it's John Boy. It says the Astros are the first team to lose a World Series game when leading by 5+ runs since the 2002 San Francisco Giants.
Yep.
They were also managed by Dusty Baker, if you don't remember that.
Did you know that teams that were down by 5 runs in the World Series were 5 and 220 in those games?
Good Lord.
That's
now
a
this
sick
is 6
stat.
and 220.
Yeah, that's a good one. 5 and 220.
Good Lord.
Jesus.
That is that a bigger like kick in the balls than we are even thinking? Oh, as Harper flies out.
I'm like a half pitch behind because I got to stream it on my phone while I'm on with you guys. So I don't really care if you give it away, though. I'll see it eventually.
Exactly.
But Tom, I don't know if you watched last night's game, but like leading a game with your ace on the mound, 5-0, your bullpen is pretty spectacular.
Yeah.
To the Astros, and then you give up the game. How do you think you would like? How do you think the Astros are feeling right now? Do you think they're worried, or are they like, listen, it happened, we'll get over it?
I think that people would like to think they'd say the second, but I think that they're like, wow, this game can get away from us really fast. 5-run cushion, man, in the World Series and you lose that's rough. So yeah, I think it might put some doubt into the Astros heads that, no lead is safe. Bullpen has to perform, which I am never a believer that any bullpen can fucking perform. But yeah, no, I think that it can get in the heads of them. They can go into this kind of going. They could like overstress about it, and just be like, all right, we can't do what we did last night, whatever. Or they can just be very laid back, like Dusty Baker, and just go with the flow and try to make a few good calls in the course of a game and whatever, and they usually cost them. It could go either way, but I'm gonna pull for the fact that they're soft, and last night got to them, and they're gonna go into this one and with any luck get their heads kicked in.
Darren,
Well, the Phillies are gonna lose Game 3 confirmed. So throughout the whole playoffs, they've had this theme at home where they've had somebody from the 2008 World Series team throughout the first pitch. Mm-hmm. And Game 3, it's going to be Bernie Parent instead of one of those players. So Game 3 is definitely going to be a loss for the Phillies, confirmed.
That's yeah.
But we got Rollins thrown out for Game 4, so we're going to win that one.
Oh, you get that one then, yes.
It should have been Rollins, Utley, Hamels in no particular order, but I don't make the fucking rules.
Unfortunately, Ryan, you do not.
Listen, they need to have like baseball gods prophets, so that way they can better interpret everything that needs to happen. Listen, you don't put this guy in, you put Rollins in to throw the first pitch. Yeah. Are you trying to give away this World Series?
Why are we breaking? I don't even care if it's fucking Jeff Jenkins, bro. Just stick with the theme of somebody from that World Series team throwing out the first pitch. Bernie Parent, is he even going to reach home plate, dude? Like, he was in his prime in the 70s. Like,
I mean, he's still alive. He has that going for him.
Yeah, probably barely.
Yeah,
probably CTE.
I mean, yeah.
Darren, if you're Dusty Baker, what do you say? Because you kind of been saying if they get gut punched in Game 1, that's going to be a big problem for the Astros.
Yeah, I just think like from the psychological point of baseball, that can be a real killer, especially when you're a favorite like that, the heavy favorite like they were, and going into this series, in my opinion. And Baker obviously has that reputation, as you just brought up. To me, the games are totally different, though. That Angels one was much more of a hard. You're 5 outs away. That's a little different. From the winning the whole thing too. I just feel like the Phillies. This is a big game for them in terms of if they win this one. Man, the momentum's there. They just keep riding that wave. Like we talked about Ryan a little bit last night. If you're the Phillies fan, you're probably like, we just don't want that shoe to drop. Let's not lose that game, not lose those two. And then we have to respond with weaker pitching. And now we're on the psychological side of things. So there's that side of that's really intriguing to me about tonight's game.
Not a good start, though. Not a good start.
Yeah. Altuve breaks his did he break his 0 for 28 streak, or because of last night? Was that an error last night? I can't remember.
I think he did break the streak, and then obviously Pena just drove him in. So,
yeah.
Not a good start.
Yeah, 1-0.
Wasn't a good start last night, though. So
yeah, I mean, if Wheeler gets rocked, are you worried? I mean, obviously you are, but I mean,
yes. If Wheeler gets tagged up in the same fashion that Nola did, I'm going to be very concerned because I mean the Phillies, ran a little bit of the bullpen out there yesterday. Granted, they have an off day tomorrow, so that helps a lot. But still, putting your bullpen out there in multiple high-stress games and every inning essentially that they pitched yesterday was high stress. So, not making it easy on them.
Speaking of Jeremy Pena, how good has he been this year? I mean, good Lord. I mean, to replace Carlos Correa, who's getting paid $35 million this year, and then opting out, so he's probably going to get more. And then them saying, "Listen, this guy's a superstar. This is why we didn't go out and get Carlos Correa." And offensively, he hasn't been the greatest this year, but during the playoffs, I mean, he won the deciding game, or he had a game-winning home run against the Mariners in that 18-inning game. Then he hit a game-winning home run against the Yankees in Game 4. He's been pretty clutch. Tom, do you think of anything do you have anything to say about Jeremy Pena?
I would just say that that team, for some reason, they find these guys that they can kind of bring along, and they don't have to do a ton. They got Bregman and they got Alvarez and they got the power and stuff like that. So I would think like the Astros in that way seem like to me anyway, seem like they have the ability to find these guys that will come through in the clutch in the important games. The Red Sox used to do that too, so if you can find a guy that he wasn't going to, you don't need him to be Correa. You just need someone serviceable at the position. And the kid has done that, by a mile. And then he's performed in the postseason. So I'm not really surprised. I think that, right now, I think the Astros are just one of those teams that will find guys to fill the holes they need. And, when he moves on, then they'll get someone else. And they just kind of go through the motions like that. So
this is one of the bigger. This going on right now. This is one of the bigger issues that scared me. Is Zach Wheeler has a tendency to throw almost too many strikes at points in the game, and all those strikes that got hit for doubles, they were not quality strikes in the slightest. They were all up. They were all in the middle of the plate. I feel like that even that pitch that Bregman just hit for an out right there, that's not a good pitch in the slightest. I mean, Wheeler's way too far in the middle of the zone right now. Nothing's down. There's no bite on anything. So this is not a great start for Zach Wheeler so far.
Yeah. Darren, do you have any thoughts on Pena?
Well, 2-0 already. Astros. That start, Wheeler didn't get off to the start I was thinking there at all. So I think Pena's a beast. They brought him up for that reason. They think he's a stud. He's going to take Correa's spot. I do think it's interesting, like how the Astros don't really miss a beat, even with like Correa, who's not like just some, just typical player. Especially in the postseason, he's always performed well. And then I thought it was pretty funny that Pena then wins the ALCS MVP on top of that type of deal. So it'll be interesting, though. Back to this game real quick, just because it's kind of picking up a little bit. It'd be interesting how he does here in this little stretch here.
Yeah. And, Wheeler is getting his money for a reason. He is a very good pitcher, so I do expect him to settle in. I mean, that first pitch right there to Tucker probably has to be called a strike. That's right there on the corner. So I think he'll settle in and be fine. He's not one to tend to let innings, get worse than they should be. So
Kyle Tucker better get a fastball to the face right now.
Well, if you're a Phillies fan, maybe you want to hit a home run. They'll lose again. That's the theme, right? Homer or lose. So. Homer or lose. That'd be the ultimate pain, right? That would be your theory there, Logan.
I guess so. Oh.
What do you think, Ryan, of Alvarez in that first inning? He looked a little shaky, a little bit. Alvarez.
Valdez?
Valdez.
Or Valdez, sorry, it says there.
Yeah, he wasn't sharp. He was the exact opposite of Wheeler. I mean, he looked like he couldn't find the strike zone at times. I mean, his curveball, as good as it is, I mean, it wasn't even threatening the strike zone, which is very unlike him. So we'll see if he can figure that out too. But yeah, he wasn't, pinpoint accurate to say the least in the first inning either. So it leaves, I mean, obviously after last night, I have a little bit of hope in any scenario, but with the way that Valdez started out that first inning, it leaves me with a glimmer of hope that we'll be all right.
I would say like the majority of these games, especially like a team like Philadelphia that, they weren't considered, to be in the World Series and, anything like that. But I think that I totally lost my train of thought. I'm sorry.
I think the fact that the Phillies are 75-48 since June 1st has to be a more relevant stat than the fact that they have 87 wins on the regular season.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, because they started out with under Girardi, 21-29, you said last night?
Mm.
I mean, yeah, that's kind of like the Nationals in 2019. They started off 25-37, and they climbed out of that hole, and as Kyle Tucker.
But as we've seen, the Phillies bottom of the lineup too. I like Matt Vierling a lot. I know that he's never really going to be an everyday player, but he plays corner infield. He's played second base, and he plays all the outfield positions too. So he's one of those dudes you could get 300 at-bats a season just to regularly spell guys that need a day off. Great platoon guy. He not from a talent perspective, but he reminds me of Chase Utley in the fact that every play is 100% hustle. He's always going to go out there and give it everything he's got. So I like Veerling in center personally. I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't trade for a center fielder and leave him out there, but Marsh did his part. Right up until we got to the postseason, then he couldn't hit water if he fell off a dock. But
the Houston Astros are the first team in World Series history to start off a game with 3 extra base hits.
Jesus.
Gurriel's been streaky.
Gurriel in the World Series, man, is so good though. He has such a history of being so good.
Pitch. Yeah, he does. No doubt. I'd pitch around him here and try to get Diaz.
Do you know how old Gurriel is?
He's just 34, 35, somewhere in that neighborhood.
Could be older.
Yeah, that's when you got to add the 2-year cushion on the,
Could be older.
Yeah,
he's 31 ish, 33.
He's 38 years old.
Is he really? I knew
Which
he
means
came
he's 40.
to the U.S. pretty.
Yeah, basically. Oh, Reese.
Big hit.
That's not good.
I hate Reese Hoskins. Don't ever ask me if he's my favorite player again.
Hey, remember yesterday I did say that Reese was the guy. But hey, if you lose a game, you want to get all your errors out early in one game. Just get them all out. If you're going to lose one with errors, get it all out in one.
I'm perfectly okay with splitting in Houston, but if we just roll over and die here and lose 11-0, and it's the way that we lose. Like if we lose with no fight, then I have a problem with that. But
yeah, for sure.
I think the Phillies will answer it.
Hey, we never got to talk about this last night. Can I ask you guys real quick about the Diaz thing? We never really got on that part where he where he tried to get over the plate and then get pegged with it. At the very end of the game.
Yeah.
And that was to me. And then obviously he got a big deal over the internet today and stuff like that. And the thing I don't think he got criticized enough for was swinging on a 3-0 pitch though. He swung at ball 4. I mean, he literally. I'm like, I kind of think. I wonder in my head if he thought it was a strike. I don't know. Did he think it was 2-1? I don't know. I was like, why would he swing there? I just don't think he's getting killed.
I was under the impression that if you get caught leaning into a pitch, no matter where it was located, it was a strike.
That's
so
what I thought. It was an
I thought that it was a strike. I mean, first off, I think that pitch was a strike. I think Blue kind of got messed up because he leaned into it and didn't really analyze the pitch well. But do the Astros just want to be hated by everybody? Because that's the most Bush League shit ever. There's no way. Dusty Baker must have told him, hey, get on base any way you can. He didn't step out of the dugout to even remotely argue the fact that he leaned into the pitch. He knew he leaned into the pitch. That whole situation screamed that it was kind of premeditated. Hey, don't really get out of the way. And then he leans into a slider that was coming back over the inside corner like that. That was super Bush League to me. I hate the Astros so much. They just want to be hated.
Well, I think every player, I don't think he meant to go all the way in the middle of the strike zone. But I mean, some players are you got to get on base no matter what. There's that famous I think there's the pickle in the World Series where who's that big player who had 3 home runs in 77 for the Yankees?
Oh, Reggie Jackson.
Yeah. Reggie Jackson got hit in the hip and they ended up walking off in that game. Was it against the Athletics in the playoffs or something? But and they said, did you intentionally step in front of the ball to get hit so you guys would win? And he said, yeah, I did that. It was just to help my own team. So I kind of feel like if he didn't go out a little bit to try to get hit, then
he tried to get hit the pitch before.
He did try to.
It's not like he wasn't trying. He definitely was. I just think he's not getting killed though for swinging 3-0 when he would have been on base and the bases would have been loaded. To me, I would have been pissed if I was an Astros fan. Like, what the hell are you doing? Take sign, man.
And then he swung at a great pitcher's pitch 3-1 that was also arguably ball 4.
Yeah, that was both of them were sliders down. I don't know, or curveballs. I was like, what are you doing there?
Yeah, they never understand for some reason. 3-0, like that's total little league stuff. Like,
yes,
you always get told, like, if you're up 3-0, take a ball, because that means he has no control. Even if he throws a ball right down the middle, it's fine. Just leave it be.
Yeah, you have 2 more strikes in the at bat. Like,
Wheeler finally got out of it. 3-0 Astros, though.
Yuck.
The silver lining in the clouds is the Astros were aggressive enough as pitch count's still down.
Yeah. How big of a leash does Wheeler have the rest of the game, though?
It's hard to say. Some of the moves Thompson's made on the surface has been kind of been a little weird with the bullpen. I mean, they've worked out, in the end most of the time. So, but I would say, he still has a little bit longer of a leash than Nola did. I mean, they let Nola run back out there surprisingly longer than I thought they would. But we'll see with the day off tomorrow how he wants to utilize the bullpen.
I saw he wanted him to go at least 80 to 90 pitches, but can't give up 3 runs in the first inning and then 3 runs the next inning. You got to keep it still a little bit competitive.
Yeah, if he settles down and, bears down, starts throwing better strikes, I mean, that whole at bat, every strike was on the corner. So
it should only be 2-0. Like Huston, he's got to make that catch at first base.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Sosa could have made a better throw, but as a major league first baseman, you have to pick that ball. There's fucking Reese, dude. Jesus.
He caught it with his palm.
As Ryan, you're the one stressed out. Like, baseball stresses me out more than anything else in the postseason, man. The A's haven't been there in a while, but like, there's something about it when it's over. There is something nice about it. Like, you can go back to normal life. You want to win, man. It's such a stressful sport. You got a Red Sox fan here too. He's probably been enjoying it more recently, but you went through a lot too. So baseball, man, it's just like, it's crazy in the playoffs.
Well, I remember 2008 so well, and outside of Game 2, I mean, it was easy going. Like the Phillies just had an elite level offense. Cole Hamels threw 2 gems. I mean, it was so easy going for the 2008 Phillies. And then I remember sitting on the couch after strike 3 was called in Game 5, and my dad looked at me. He goes, "Cherish it. It might not ever happen again." And I laughed at him. I was like, "Yeah, right. We got a dynasty going here." Sure, fucking enough, we didn't win another World Series, but. Yeah.
Yeah, baseball's cruel, man. It's a cruel sport.
Which is unfortunate because if I wanted anybody to win a World Series, I wanted Roy Halladay to win one.
Yep,
for sure.
He suffered so much in Toronto, being on like bad Toronto teams that just could not keep up with the rest of the AL East.
Ryan, we talked about Halladay before, a while back. I couldn't agree more. What a shame. You've seen the guys that have won, and you're like, oh man, but then he didn't get one. Kind of sucks.
Be fair, he has a no-hitter in the playoffs, so
yeah,
pretty good.
You get that too. But yeah, Halladay, he was. I would have liked to seen him pull one in, definitely.
I always forget he didn't. He was not a part of that 2008 team. So
here's the number one jackass on the Philadelphia Phillies here doing jackass shit again. Jesus, I hate this guy so much.
I don't even have to look who's up. I'm just guessing his name is Nick.
Yeah. If your first name is 4 letters long, you're an asshole and nobody likes you.
That's great. That's awesome. Is he streaky too? I haven't watched enough of him.
No,
I know he sucks, but even when he was with the Royals. Yeah.
He's pretty consistent. He's consistently bad. I mean, he swung at the same down breaking balls all season. So you would think by now in game 180, he would have made some kind of adjustment. But no, he's as consistent as ever, man. If breaking ball's down, he's just going to fucking take a hack at it.
That's hilarious.
Him and Reese together could like form a pretty good hitter because Reese refuses to swing the bat and Nick just can't stop.
Somewhere
So
in the middle.
you just blend them and make one guy. They can
If
cover
I
all
could
the
give the pitches Reese takes to Nick Castellanos, then we'd be fine.
There you go.
Alec Boehm, who loves this place. Were you offended about that whenever he said that? I feel like I've asked you this before, but
I feel like they've really made and it doesn't surprise me in the slightest, but I feel like the Philadelphia media made that a really, really huge deal. Like, I would also, like, if I made 3 errors back to back to back, say, I fucking hate this place. Like, I think everybody would, you know?
Yeah.
But he owned it, and then he went 3 for 3 with 2 RBIs the next night. So good for him. But, I mean, truthfully, anybody who expected him to be a great fielding third baseman was kidding themselves anyway.
he's gotten better, though, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's like serviceable at this point. I mean, in all reality, I would love to see him play first base at some point, you know. 1, because he'd be in a position that's better suited for him, and 2, it would mean Rhys Hoskins not a Philly anymore, but
Where would Rhys Hoskins end up, Ryan, do you think, if he doesn't stick around there?
hopefully one of our division rivals.
The Braves don't need a first baseman. I was just thinking here for a second.
Marlins?
The Mets?
Yeah.
Could he go to the Mets? Is he on the? It seems like a Mets player.
Pete
maybe.
Alonso.
Yeah, Pete can play DH. They got the DH.
Yeah. Is
I don't know
Yeah,
if I
actually,
want-
that would be even better if Pete DH'd because Reese can't field for
No,
shit. So.
Yeah.
they might not want that either. Might be a good Red Sox.
Oh, God.
You got that green monster there.
You know what, Darren, at this point,
Yeah.
if the Bogarts, Devers stuff doesn't happen, I don't even give a shit who else they sign.
Hey, can I actually ask Tom a question here? Because I live out here in the Bay Area, and like I remember about a year ago, I just think that the dumbest trade in recent history is that Mookie Betts trade that the Reds, and I don't understand it like at all. The Red Sox aren't like this cheap franchise. It's not like they haven't signed guys in the past either, and like you know what I mean. Like it's still to me the most mind-boggling move in baseball in the last 10 years. I just don't makes no sense to me. No sense.
I will say the overwhelming opinion up here is that they never thought they could sign Mookie Betts no matter what they offered him.
Really? Okay.
They didn't think he was going to stick around. They didn't think he liked the vibe here or
Gotcha.
whatever. I mean, they offered him whatever, close to $300 million. He's like, nah.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of what, I mean, the return on it was not good.
No.
By any stretch, right? It's borderline criminal what they got back. So, yeah, I think the thing with Betts is that no one thought he didn't really be here anyway. So it was kind of just get over it and just get the best guys you can, which they fucked that up to, in royal fashion. But they're more focused on keeping Bogarts or Devers here. Devers has another year left, so you're just dealing with, you're dealing with an extension right now. People like me, and I'm a little older than a lot of the younger people on fucking Twitter and shit. So the majority of the people that are my age, I will say, want Bogarts to re-sign here. A lot of people that are, a lot younger than I am that are more into analytical this and that, they couldn't care less if Bogarts stayed or not. So the argument that I had with these people at the beginning of the year was that Bogarts was a defensive liability and all this stuff. And so I went through that shit. But at the end of the season, he ended up having his best defensive year since like 2015 or something like that. So that's where, like, the analytical mindset where like Bloom had making the trade for Mookie, trading Mookie Betts. All he looked at was like, well, the numbers would say that Jeter Downs can do this, and the numbers will say that, Verdugo will do this. And whoever, that Connor Wong, I think might have been in that one too. I don't even remember because Bloom has made so many of these stupid things. But the Mookie Betts trade is different in the fact that I probably repeating myself because I'm whatever. It's Friday night, Saturday night. The Mookie Betts trade is different because no one thought that Mookie would stay. The overwhelming opinion nationwide about Mookie Betts is that Boston just made a horrendous trade, which I agree, but he wasn't staying anyway, so they took what they wanted. And I think the only mistake they made was that the Graterol kid that was initially in the deal, and then they said that he had a bad shoulder and he was fat. So they went back and they ended up with Cheetah Downs and Connor Wong instead. So to bring it all back where I just rambled for 15 fucking minutes on something that you didn't even ask me, the Mookie Betts thing is totally different.
All right.
Like around here than it is nationwide, I would say. That's sorry, I ran on.
Can we talk about real quick, why there seems to be a lot of like butthurtedness that the Yankees fans just absolutely booed the shit out of Aaron Judge throughout the playoffs. And I don't get it. Like, yeah, the guy hit 62 home runs in the regular season. That's extremely impressive. Nobody's taken away from that. Are you supposed to cheer every time he goes up and strikes out in the playoffs? Because that's pretty much all he did. Like, hey, man, it's okay. You did a lot for us. We're a World Series or bust team, but thanks for going up to the plate and doing absolutely fucking nothing for us when it counted. Like, what? Like, why are people so mad that Yankees fans held their players accountable? Like, yeah, he wasn't going to replicate 62 home run pace in the playoffs, but he went up there and he hit not even his weight. Like, he was terrible. So why wouldn't you boo him? Like, I don't get that people are so mad about that.
Well, as a Cardinals fan, I commented on a tweet a couple of weeks ago, and I said, I wish Cardinal fans would be a little bit like Yankee fans to a certain extent, because it seems like Cardinal fans just always, no matter what, they'll be like, oh, you guys are good. You got us to the playoffs, so we're good. And then if you even dare to talk bad about a player doing bad, Yadier Molina, then you get how dare you? You're so spoiled. And then I think Yankee fans should be mad at, Anthony Rizzo, not even Anthony Rizzo though, because he kind of performed, but Aaron Judge and some of those other guys, Matt Carpenter even. And I get he was
do shit.
Yeah. Well, wasn't LeMahieu injured?
Oh, yeah, he was injured in the playoffs, but I'm talking about even during the regular season. LeMahieu didn't do shit.
Josh Donaldson was the biggest mojo killer in the entire series. And, they need to get booed.
You know what the issue is, though? Judge is in a contract year. That's why people have a problem. That they want to coddle him so he comes back to New York is the big problem. And honestly, if he's going to perform like that in the playoffs, I don't give a fuck if he comes back to New York. It's not my problem. Go hit 160 in the playoffs somewhere else.
I will also say that a lot of those at-bats, though, they weren't giving him anything to hit, though. Especially the Guardian series. The first two games, they didn't give him anything to hit. And I think they gradually started trying to give him a little bit to hit, and he was just so used to not having anything to hit that he just couldn't hit it, I think. That's my theory about it.
I think it's screwed. Like that Bryce Harper. Do you remember when Joe Madden intentionally walked Bryce Harper 7 times in a series, and then after that series, Bryce Harper hit 220 for the whole season? I think it had a similar effect. I think that players just got so far out of their mojo. Man, how do you not swing at that?
Yeah.
Oh, did you hear the announcers compare this McCormick dude to Giancarlo Stanton? I was like, these comparisons are just getting embarrassing. Good Lord, man.
Well, Ryan, honestly, it gets worse every year. And no matter the sport, it can be any sport. And a young kid comes up and they're like, oh, he's the next this. Oh, he's the next Wayne Gretzky. He's the next Ken Griffey Jr. He's the next. It's just can you let the kid just do his thing. And that will figure itself out. Like, they label these kids with such this massive, like, you know, ultimate status Hall of Fame name. Like, you're the next this guy. You know, you're the next Tom Brady. You're the next, you know, it's like, just let the kid grow up and play, man. He'll play.
Well, I'm just excited to watch the next Ted Williams, dude. Like, I didn't know that coming in. Like, I knew Kyle Tucker was good, but
you know, it's just, I mean, people now, they can't help themselves. They need that thing. They're like, oh my God, yeah, he's this. It's no, maybe he's not. I mean, and the reason, you know, it's been 60, 70 fucking years since half these guys played, that they're like, well, this guy's the one. Do you know how many other fucking guys have been called the next one? The 69 before that guy. They do it every year. And if you actually had the time to fucking sit down and look over the prospects since 1947, for instance, whatever, and look, and what they did in their pro career, it's like, I feel that when they get this hype coming in, no matter what sport, these kids are going into this thing thinking that they have to reach that level. I mean, they want to reach the level because they're athletes, but to put the name on you, to put the label, say, yeah, you're the next Willie Mays, you're the next this and that. So I wish they would just totally stop with the comparisons and let the kid play. You can say, hey, you know what? He throws a curve like Maddox, you know, stuff like that. But like, oh, here he is, this next kid. It's just like, stop doing that.
Especially in baseball, where like prospects like develop to, I mean, it's so hard to be any good in baseball. Like, I mean, baseball's been around since 1883, and there's been, you know, they just hit 20,000 players like last year, something like that. It's so much harder to even make the MLB than any other, you know, top level of sports. And then to be, you know, as good as these guys are that they're comparing them to is like next level stuff. It's the worst in baseball, and in baseball it's so criminally embarrassing. Like we touched on earlier, the hype that Bryce Harper got at 16. Yeah. Like, that shit shouldn't be. He's a kid, man. He's 16 years old. Go let him drink underage at a party like all us normal 16-year-olds did, and, you know, get you know, yelled at by his parents a little bit before we start, you know, claiming him as the next one. Like, let's settle down a little bit here.
I agree.
Yeah. Oh, and there's Martin Maldonado, who's the next Yadier Molina. So he doesn't have much going for him.
Yeah, so it's crazy. You know, Jesus Christ, man.
I think the comparison part's just like you said. It's just fun for people to like kind of put a face to somebody. They can think about like right now, Bogarts.
They can't help it. They can't help it. You know,
there's not a player alive. There's not a player that's going to be alive. There's not a player that's going to play this sport ever again that is going to hit the ball the way that Ted Williams did. The game just isn't even remotely the same anymore. No. So, I mean, to even mention Ted Williams and like anybody that's ever playing or going to play baseball from here on out in the same sentence is quite frankly embarrassing.
You know, I did do what Tom asked in 1947. I did go all the way. No, I'm just kidding. Could you imagine that?
Darren, I'm telling you, I apologize. I ramble on so bad.
No, man, whatever. It's all good. We're just talking baseball here. I like that. I was thinking about that. Like, one of my favorite things is that's why I fell in love with baseball is the history part of it. As Ryan kind of found out like last night, sometimes I just like finding out questions and seeing how people react to things. And that's why baseball, the comparisons are ridiculous, but they're kind of fun at the same time that you can kind of make that judgment between who's this player, who's that player. You know, like remember the big deal in the 90s was the shortstops, right? Garcia, Parra, you know, they're all
the Holy Trinity.
The Holy Trinity. And Miguel Tejada, just for people out there. He was in there as well. So I got
Vizquel. Oh yeah. I heard that every day of my life. You know what I mean? When Nomar was here. In his Nomar prime, I would take him.
Nothing's better to hear somebody from Boston say Nomar. Nothing's better than that. I like it. I hear it. He was.
I can't lose it, man. This is just this is how I talk. You know.
No, I love it. It's awesome.
Gosh.
I think the Astros came out with a good game plan, though. I mean, they definitely did their homework, realized that Wheeler throws a ton of strikes, and they came out aggressive, early in the count, and here they are up 3-0.
Second inning, he got out pretty easily, though.
He found the corners a little bit better. The walk that he had, a couple of those sliders, I don't know how McCormick laid off of those. I mean, there's no way you can compare him to Stanton because Stanton would have swung at least 2 of those.
It's because he's got he's the next Stan Musial. Oh, sorry.
Stan Musial.
He's the next Tony Gwynn. More walks than strikeouts, baby.
Yeah.
Tony Gwynn was the last legitimate hitter that was compared to Ted Williams.
Oh yeah.
Tony Gwynn was the last great hitter.
Yes.
Who led the lead? Remember, the guy. This was it. The guy from the Twins. He didn't even have a high average or somebody. He was leading for a long time, and he was at 335. And I was like, man. The second baseman, Luis Arias. I think
Arias.
it is Luis
Arias. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have the Ichiros of the world. Those guys just don't exist in the baseball.
Ichiro was probably the last good hitter, but even his style was so weird.
He wasn't taught here in the U.S. That's the thing. He just developed it somewhere else.
He definitely utilized his speed better than most people did. That's for sure.
Oh my God! When he first came up, I remember his first game was against the A's, and he got his first hit was an infield single, and I was like, shit, he got to first base fast. You know what I mean? You just don't. And it really changes the game. That's why I'm interested next year with all the shift stuff and all that stuff going on. I do miss some of that speed stuff. I know we all like the power, but
hey, Logan, are you going to let Adam in?
Yeah.
Oh, man, I was looking for him for a while, and I
seen the private chat had a notification, so I clicked on it, and all I seen was hi, and I was like, I think that's Adam.
That's funny.
Boys,
This is Kennedy.
What's up?
I'm wearing
like I'm on this little ass phone, dude. I'm not used to it.
Yeah, family
I hear the woman behind you more than you.
Yeah. I can't really hear it.
G's wearing his.
It sounds like Charlie Brown's teacher.
Womp, 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 womp.
Yeah, it does. I don't know why. Probably because it just got really loud because they know I'm on a podcast.
That
Probably.
You watching the game?
Yes.
No, I was getting ready to go out to the fire when Logan sent me when I saw the invitation.
Oh,
I saw it's 3-0 though.
yeah, 3-0 in the third.
Yeah, but it was 5-0 last night.
Yeah, right, exactly.
Ryan needs
Not
to
too
go
worried.
and get.
That's a tough way to live, though.
Yeah.
Hey, man,
Yeah,
in Philly, we never make this easy, okay? We just look at the results. We don't look at how we got there.
Hey, you don't have to tell me that.
Not fit in your car. No.
How the hell did you guys sneak Ryan off away from the game? I'm confused.
He's watching.
They're
right
all
here.
watching it.
Not watch the game. That's a good one.
Yeah.
Can you
Right.
send Adam the title of the podcast? When I did that?
I waited 13 years to watch the Phillies play another World Series game.
So Darren,
Yeah.
because you and I we talk a lot.
We're gonna grab
But,
up Ryan.
Do you like? Is there a team that you like to watch besides the Athletics in the playoffs or
In the
at
playoffs?
any time?
Yeah, this year I found myself obviously here living where I do, it was easier for me to catch a lot of the Padres games, the later night games. So I kind of found myself watching a lot of those games going forward. So I had the Padres going to the World Series, so that was the team I was pulling for.
Suck it, loser.
I know, I know. That's not my team, so I don't think it's personal. Bob Melvin, damn you.
The best thing about the Padres is Don Orsillo.
So I found myself rooting for them though a little bit more this year than the other teams. It was hard because the Final Four, some of the teams I it's like, I mean, I know we got Ryan here, but the Phillies, it was like, it's like that's kind of, you got the Yankees, it's like, you got the Astros, and you're like, so there was a little bit of the Final Four. It kind of, I had to reach for angles a little bit there.
Yeah, I made a call into Felga the other day. It was probably like a week ago, and I'm like, I told him, like, I haven't watched a lot of baseball since the playoffs, since the Sox suck so bad, and I'm like, do you think Major League Baseball has an issue with, maybe some of the biggest douchebags in the league is still in the playoffs? And I was like, because I just summed it up to Machado was number one and Harper number two, and I forget who was the third one. But anyway, it was just kind of like that was kind of where I was going with it. It was like he's like just douchey fact. Like, is there a douche factor in baseball? Is it an effect on the fans? If a guy is super talented, but just such a douche, like you don't even want to fucking cheer for him.
Yeah, but people know who these people are, so even if you don't like them, you can root against them.
That was what Maz replied. He goes, "You can use the douche factor the other way.
Yeah.
You can chime in and watch and hope that they fail." I'm like,
I'll tell you what, man. A lot of Phillies fans were complaining and crying during the whole CS about how John Smoltz wouldn't shut the fuck up about the Padres. And I kind of argued with this about Bill last night on the show. I'm like, they talked about Harper just as much, because when you look at teams like the Padres and the Phillies, like, there aren't a lot of all-stars. So when a casual turns on the game, how do you want to sell the sport? You talk about Machado, you talk about Soto, and you talk about Harper. And like, Phillies fans just didn't want to hear it. They think John Smoltz is some sort of raging cocksucker who hates the Phillies. And he probably does, because he's a Brave. But I mean, I didn't think he was so bad in the CS that, like, all of Philadelphia, the whole Delaware Valley got on Twitter and was like, fuck John Smoltz. Like, that we're dressing up as fuck John Smoltz for Halloween. I'm like, dude, relax, bro. It wasn't even that bad.
Yeah.
Every fan base feels that way, though, that their team doesn't get enough of the love.
Now, last night, I will admit, it was kind of bad. There was some very obvious biases until Joe Davis called the home run in the 10th. But before that, I didn't think anything of it. I actually missed Joe Buck, though, calling the World Series, to be honest with you. Like, Joe Buck not being a part of the World Series breaks my heart.
Joe is not a fan favorite out in this area. A lot of people hate Joe Buck because they feel like he loves all the Midwest teams and the car. They feel like so out here he gets killed on the radio. He gets killed.
I will say it was weird when Bob Costas was commentating the DS. As a Cardinals fan, I was like, man, he's talking about the Cardinals a lot. And I said somewhere, I said, I feel like I get that he's Mr. St. Louis and all, but even as a Cardinals fan, I'm like, man, dial it back a little bit. And someone was like, he's from Queens. How is he Mr. St. Louis? I'm like, he loves St. Louis. He got his start in St. Louis.
Yeah, he covered the Cardinals for years when he first started.
But
I love Bob Costas, dude. I think he's shit.
And someone was like, we don't need a history lesson on baseball. It's the playoffs. I'm like, dude.
There's all kinds of casual people tuning in for the MLB playoffs. Like, that's the best time for it. Like, nobody who's like casually scrolling TV is going to tune into a regular season game.
Could you imagine an announcer not doing it like a history style and doing it more like an NBA announcer? And there he is. Throws it back to the pitcher. Be like, you're ridiculous.
Yeah, it doesn't fly. It doesn't have that same flow, Darren.
No. Well, yeah, you don't. I mean, you have 3.5 hours, and there's not a lot going on besides, just the pitch being thrown and maybe the occasional hit. So you gotta fill the time up with something. It's not like, you can't get away with it like in NBA where everything is happening all at once at the same time.
That should be
football.
I will admit, though, it gets a little annoying when they constantly talk. Like, let the game breathe a little bit sometimes. Like, you don't have to say everything every microsecond of the game. Like, you can kind of take a deep breath, like, relax. Like, you can hype up big moments with some commentary, but, like, just let the game be what the game is sometimes, You don't have to just keep talking to keep talking.
Rhys Hoskins is about to hit a home run.
No, he's not.
Better. He dropped the ball at first base.
He's-
He better make up for
He's
it.
about to, I think.
0-2? Yeah, okay.
Well, based
Yeah. Oh,
on
wow.
Ryan's evaluation, he'll swing at something probably out of the strike zone.
That
what
sounds
we'll-
that sounds
No,
about
that's
right.
Nicky Cass right there.
Yeah, that he
Hoskins
pulled
is the one that does.
See,
Oh,
him and Nick Castellanos did,
Yeah, that's right.
combine there. He swung at a Nick Castellanos pitch.
There you go.
Nick-
There you go.
It's
Darren.
okay. Here's
Darren
the
was
real
right.
World Series MVP up the bat now.
So,
God,
I don't
damn,
know how-
JT. What the fuck?
do you know off the top of your head how long Reese Hoskins has on his contract?
He's in his last year of arbitration in the offseason. Believe me, I know exactly how much longer he has as a Philly.
So,
I'm kind of hoping that they offer him like the minimum that they can, which I believe is $6.5 million, because you can't go more than 20% below what he made the previous year. And then they just give Jose Abreu, who's probably desperate to be on a team that's good, some money. And then they're like, hey, come play with us so we don't have to deal with Reese Hoskins anymore. Like, you're just as bad defensively, but you hit 300 and you've done clutch things in your career. And Reese Hoskins is fucking dog shit, so we don't want him anymore. But, like, the first baseman market is so bad in the offseason. Like, it's Jose Abreu, and then Reese Hoskins is probably the second best, in all honesty.
do you So that's what I was going to ask. Is Jose Abreu like the top of your wish list, or is there a trade that you want to make? Or
I
in the
mean,
offseason?
truthfully, so I'll talk about it a little bit deeper into the offseason show that we're going to do. But the Phillies have $129 million committed to next year. So, I mean, they're at a $232 million payroll right now. I mean, they have absolute stupid money to spend in the offseason. Like, you're going to hate to say it. Like, if they want to get Trey Turner, they're going to get Trey Turner. If they want to get Jacob deGrom, they're going to get Jacob deGrom. They easily have the most money to spend going into the offseason. And for a team in the World Series right now, that's a really good selling point. But my top of my wish list, they need another starter, man, because looking at it now from a lens of a World Series team like Wheeler, Nola, and then a bunch of fucking question marks, like they need a starter. They need somebody who can go out there and eat some innings bad.
I'm going to ignore that Trey Turner thing right there, but whatever.
I knew you weren't going to like that too much, but yeah, I mean, to shave $103 million off the payroll, because they only have 8 guys signed under contract. Everybody else is either arbitration or pre-arbitration.
Ryan, do they shell out the money for starting pitching, do you think? Or like
I think that they
if
have
they
to.
do, who would they go at?
I think that they have to. I mean, they don't have the depth in the organization, the farm. So I think they for sure have to go out and get a starter. You'll probably see Andrew Painter at some point next year, because he's absolutely destroyed the minor leagues at every level that he's been at. But that I'm sure that they'll go out and get a bona fide starter. I don't know if it'll necessarily be deGrom, but I know that he's a free agent, so that was the first name that came to mind. I mean, hell, if Clayton Kershaw wants to leave LA, he can come play in Philly for a year.
I can see the Phillies getting like Rondon or something like that. That seems like
Rondon's probably going to be the most sought after, because he's still relatively younger and definitely hitting his prime. But even if I wouldn't be too upset if they wanted to go get a Justin Verlander for a year, or one of the older starters for a year, put him on a year contract, see if we can win a World Series with him.
No doubt. Hey guys, I got to jump off though for a little bit. I got to get a little family time here for a little 6 o'clock here, dinner time here. But I'll try to jump on Logan if I can later.
Yeah,
Tom, it was
sure.
nice meeting you. It was good
Darren,
talking
nice
with
meeting you, man.
Yeah, hopefully we can do it
Absolutely.
again.
Definitely.
Absolutely, Ryan. Good seeing you again. Good luck, sir.
Thank you, Darren. I'm sure we'll be speaking in the coming weeks frequently.
Absolutely.
See you in a little bit.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, guys, take it easy. Later.
Hey, have a good weekend.
Yeah, you too, sir.
All right.
And just like Reese Hoskins in the box score, my beer is empty, so I'm gonna go get another one.
Yeah, go get another one.
Ryan, grab 2. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, right.
You don't have to keep-
My refrigerator isn't cold enough to be able to have 2 beers out. I've been drinking rum and Coke today. I don't know why. I don't feel like
check
having a
you out.
beer. I know.
I can't go get a bottle of whiskey because I knew I was going to, like, I used to have a really bad, like, alcoholism problem. So, like, I quit drinking altogether for, like, 7 or 8 months when I first got out of the military. Now I do it socially. But I figured since I'd be here talking sports with the boys, I'd go get, like, a 6-pack or something. But I can't go get a bottle. I'd put it down in, like, 30 minutes, and then I'd start fucking running around naked on the goddamn stream and shit, running through the neighborhood without my clothes on. So
whatever you want to do there, pal. No,
You'd be like Mike Napoli after the 13 World Series, running around Boston nude.
Oh god,
I remember that.
Oh, Mike Napoli.
He lived it up for quite a bit after they won that one.
That's funny. I'm glad he got a World Series.
He was great. I mean, his
playoffs, dude. He's so awful in the regular season, though.
Oh yeah, he kind of tolerated it. It was a weird vibe with that team anyway. Like the whole like beard thing, and they had a bunch of shit going on. But it's funny to think back to like that seems so long ago. It really wasn't, and
almost 10 years since.
It's nuts. It's nuts.
It's so weird for me to sit here and say that the 08 World Series was 14 years ago. Like that.
I know.
Yeah.
I remember being at game 1 of that playoff series where Cole Hamels pitched against Giovanni Gallardo.
Nice.
And why did he swing at that, dude? Is he okay?
Did he swing at that? Good Lord. Wow, that was bad. Yeah, 2013, that was a rough one as a Cardinals fan. Because, oh my gosh, we were so good that year. And that was like the first time in my memory that the two best teams in baseball, and they were really good. I mean, the Cardinals had 105 wins, and I think the Red Sox had the same wins that year.
Yeah, 108 maybe?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe. They were close.
That's a total guess. I think maybe like whatever, around that.
But, yeah.
100 plus.
Yeah, I mean, they were both really good teams, and I was like, if the Red Sox sweep us again, I'm going to be pissed off. But they ended up winning. But that was a good series for a while.
Yeah.
Even though it had the worst ending. The only thing I ever remember about that series is Alan Craig tripping on the third baseman.
Oh, dude, I remember that.
Getting injured.
I loved Alan Craig, dude.
Yeah.
He was good when you guys had him.
Yeah, and then we got John Lackey for him.
Yeah.
John Lackey and you guys got Joe Kelly also. And
which he had some good moments here. Like people like him because they still sell the like Kelly Fight Club shirts and shit.
Oh yeah.
So it doesn't matter if he can pitch, if he can fight, I guess that's what the
To be fair, the shit was epic as hell, that little crybaby face he made at the Astros.
Oh yeah. Yeah. But yeah.
On wheels.
Man. Ooh.
Good pitch. Ran him up the ladder, too high to get on top of.
Hey guys, if it's all right, I'm gonna hop off in a minute.
Yeah.
If that's cool.
No, you got to stay on the whole time, Tom.
Yeah, right.
All 4 hours and 54 minutes like yesterday.
You know what, Ryan? Usually I would. Tonight's not the night for me to stay on the whole time. That's all. But I always enjoy talking to you guys. So, we'll do it again soon. I got to get out of here for now. I don't mean to cut it short.
No, you want?
That's fine.
Well, you want to plug your show real quick? Nope.
No, guess not.
I guess not. You really did dip.
Him and Jason, man.
Yeah, right. Jason was supposed to be on earlier. I don't know what's going on with him.
That was not a great pitch, but I'll take the result. Ted Williams wouldn't have done that.
Ted Williams. So in the offseason, what else do you see? Do you see anyone else the Phillies getting?
I mean, with the amount of room that they have, it's just it's so crazy. I mean, like I said, if they wanted to keep the same payroll that they have this year for next year, they have $103 million to spend. I mean, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I think it's actually a little bit less than that. I think that 129 mil is not factoring the fact that NOLA has a club option that they will most definitely pick up.
Yeah.
But yeah, even in the 90 million range, like that's stupid money right there in baseball. Like, unfortunately, we don't have great prospects, or else I would say, fuck it, go out and get Mike Trout. If we can't pitch, we'll sure as hell out hit him. But
well, I mean, do you think that it would be prospects that you would have to give up a whole bunch of prospects in order to get Trout, or?
I think so. I mean, it depends on which direction the Eagles want to go. I mean, Art Montero I think that's his name, or Moreno, or whatever the hell his last name is. Somebody.
Artie Moreno, I think.
Yeah, Artie Moreno. He's definitely selling the team, which is not a good thing. So I can't imagine. It could be, but I can't really see a world where Shohei Ohtani is the one that they get rid of, because they did just sign him to a 1-year extension. So that wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. They probably would have just let him walk at that point. But I mean, it would definitely take a haul, but it all depends on what the Angels want to do, really. But I think that the real priority is a starting pitcher, because this team made the World Series. So now looking at it through a World Series lens, like I said earlier, that they're so much thinner on starting pitching than the rest of the competition. We've kind of just been getting by on good moves from Rob Thompson.
Yeah. Yeah, honestly. So at the beginning of we didn't talk about this last night, but you were Rob Thompson at the beginning of his tenure. You weren't really that high on him, were you?
I didn't really know too much about him, to be honest with you. I knew that canning Girardi would fix some issues. I didn't realize, I don't know if Rob Thompson's actually that good of a manager and he was a diamond in the rough, or if the team is actually that much better without, how much was Girardi dragging this team down, and some of that stuff's never going to come out. We'll always speculate, but the results say that Girardi was obviously, a cancer. Like the way that he was leading the team, or I guess not leading the team, was not conducive with that clubhouse environment. So it's really there's a lot of questions to be asked, but I mean, Philly's not going to ask them right now because we're riding high. Now, if we had played well enough and just missed the playoffs, there would have been some serious questions asked about Girardi. But I think the fact that we got into the playoffs and got as deep as we did, winning cures everything.
Yeah. You so you're more okay with the 3-year? Was it a 3-year extension?
2. He's through 2024.
Oh, okay.
At this point, I don't know how you can't be. I mean,
yeah,
it's a modest 2 years. They didn't go out and give him some 5-year extension based on what he did for 2/3 of the season. Harper's putting a little too much pressure on himself right now. I think he needs to be a little bit more patient, work on getting on base here.
Ooh, that check swing, he didn't look like he.
You're talking about that second pitch right there?
No, I was talking about the first pitch. The second pitch was.
Yeah. I don't know why I said second pitch.
Yeah, the first pitch where he's check swinged.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see.
Well, this is the heart and soul of Philadelphia right here. So, I mean, the Eagles are 6-0, and Bryce Harper's sitting atop the city. So, time for him, hopefully he does something here. But I predicted Houston was going to win this game 3-2. So, like I said, as long as the Phillies, go out there and fight, they show that, they're not going to roll over and die and give the Astros all the momentum back. Like, splitting 1-1 in Houston to start the series is massive.
Yeah. Sorry, someone's texting me.
It's all good.
They had a migraine all day, apparently. It's fine. It's fine. It's whatever. No. Oh man. I wonder if the Astros lose, does Dusty Baker get kind of scapegoated? Like something about the World Series. Oh gosh, Harper, what are you doing?
I know.
Uh,
Pressing a little bit right now.
does Dusty Baker get kind of a scapegoat because something about the World Series? He kind of just gets like he never wins one, so I don't know, like a choking.
I thought Dusty Baker was kind of an interesting hire for the Astros anyway, but I don't know. To me, it didn't make a whole lot of sense. Oh, here we go. Well, at least he swung at a good pitch to hit. He just obviously can't hit worth a shit, so not surprised there. I wish he would just walk up to the plate without a bat.
Yeah,
Basically the same thing. I don't know what's going to happen with the Astros because, I mean, for them, obviously, it was World Series or bust before. I was real surprised that they made no run to bring back Zach Greinke last offseason.
Yeah, it definitely backfired on them. Well, I mean, it kind of worked out for them, I should say, because Zach Greinke wasn't that
Valdez
great.
probably doesn't, shine the way that he does. Yeah, I mean, they're good at starting, and they must have known. I mean, they knew that going into it, obviously, or else they probably would have made an attempt. But
yeah, I was surprised they didn't go out and get any players in the offseason last year. Really, I mean, they got Hector Neris, and that was about it.
They can keep Hector Neris.
But it seemed like they had a couple of guys that they should have gone after and get.
Yeah, I mean, Pena's, I guess coming onto the scene really helped them out a bunch because I thought for sure that they were definitely going to take a step back without Carlos Correa.
Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. And it seemed like they needed an outfielder to replace George Springer and Michael Brantley, who got injured pretty early in the season.
Brantley was always hurt.
But yeah.
I knew Tucker would take a full-time role. Obviously, he was a pretty highly sought-after prospect for a long time.
Yeah. Maybe they get Aaron Judge.
As crazy as it sounds, what if the Red Sox go and get Aaron Judge? I don't know what they've committed to their payroll, but okay.
I think if they don't keep Xander Bogaerts or Devers, and then they go out and spend all the money that they would have spent on Devers and Bogaerts, I think Boston would riot.
Yeah, especially to go and get Judge.
Yeah.
I just want to see that pitch called both ways. Yeah, I want to see that pitch called both ways.
Yeah. Good Lord. I have the Mariners getting Judge.
You really?
Yeah. It was a wet dream I had a couple weeks ago.
Oh shit! No, I'll do more extensive research into teams and what they have available as far as space for spending and who historically like the Yankees. I think are totally screwed. Like that. On one hand, there's no way that they can let Judge walk because he's essentially like the captain of the Yankees. That I think the whole locker room would repent against them if they didn't.
Yeah.
And on the other hand, with the way that with George Steinbrenner at the helm and they don't want to be over the, tax threshold, like there's no way that they keep him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, because Hal Steinbrenner doesn't seem to be as motivated as his dad was to go out and get as much talent as he can. Money was no object type of thing.
Yeah.
He just doesn't seem to care as much. But
No, and I think the steeper penalties on going over the tax threshold has kind of backed him off from that. But baseball's changing. That's for sure. I mean, it was a guarantee. 15, 20 years ago, it was a guarantee that the Yankees would have been over the tax threshold and they wouldn't have cared.
yeah, no. Yeah, for sure. I mean, they would have gotten Freddie Freeman in the offseason. They would have gotten a better third baseman in the offseason.
Mm-hmm.
They would not have gotten Isaiah Kiner-Falefa. I don't get. I mean, they went out and actively. They traded Gio Urshela and Gary Sanchez for Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and that makes zero to no sense to me.
Sanchez is terrible, man. I mean,
Yeah,
outside of whenever he plays the Orioles, he is so bad. Not a good fielder. Couldn't hit for shit. I mean,
seemed like he had a couple of good seasons where people were thinking, "Oh man, this guy is going to be a really good catcher," and then all of a sudden,
I mean,
kind
at
of
one
fell
point,
off, right?
Yeah, at one point, like, you know, Yankees fans a couple years ago, right before he got traded to the Phillies, they were saying like, "Oh, you know, Sanchez is just as good as, you know, Real Muto is," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, sure, whatever." But that I was thinking the other day, man, these robot umps are the offensive production that you get from the catcher spot is going to be so crucial because with robot umps, like pitch framing isn't going to be a thing anymore. Like it completely eliminates guys who are like good pitch framers but can't hit. So like your Real Mutos, your great hitting catchers, like they just become exponentially more valuable than they already are.
Well, yeah, and John Mozeliak, he had the GM for the Cardinals.
Mm-hmm.
He had a press conference the other day, and he was talking about how defense is still a very important part in their system for catching. And I'm like,
why?
And
That's
I don't get that. Yeah, and I mean, because it seems like in 2024, the robot umps are coming. It seems like that's about the time that they're coming. So, it's the very near future for sure. I kind of feel like the Cardinals should definitely get an offensive guy, especially when they needed offense this season. So,
yeah.
And every time I watch JT Real Muto play a game, I always think, man, 2019, we should have gotten him. And it pisses me off every day. So
Wheeler's settled in. He looks a lot better than he did in the first.
Yeah.
Definitely out of the middle of the plate now. He's on the corners more.
Yeah, he's definitely cleaned it up. I mean, only allowed those 3 hits. Unfortunately, those were doubles. So
yeah, he's still not throwing a ton of strikes like as much as he usually would, but good pitchers find ways. And right now, he's let this not get any worse than it was. 3-0 is, especially compared to 5-0 yesterday. 3-0 is, minimal.
Yeah, definitely need to hurry up and capitalize on it, though.
Yeah, because that Astros bullpen is no joke. I mean, you can sit there and say that they're due, but you can only sit there and say that so many times. I'm sure the Yankees probably said that as well.
Oh my gosh, that was
Oh, there's Giancarlo Stanton at it again.
Yeah, right. I keep thinking whenever it shows his face, I think it's Ryan Presley. I'm like, why is he hitting right now? But you guys need a second baseman, don't you?
Segura's got a club option for $17 million or a buyout for $1 million. I think they buy him out. That's why I kind of alluded to Turner on the market earlier. Like if they really wanted to, they would tell Stott to move over to second and go get a Trey Turner. But
yeah,
good pitch. I mean, it's the off season's so nuts for baseball. I mean, it always is. Like,
Yeah, it's probably my favorite time of the year, honestly.
yeah, winter
Okay.
meetings. Winter meetings is the best time of the year. Anything after that, I mean, recently though, free agencies, those big name free agents have kind of been delayed to sign with teams. Like Harper signed in the middle of spring training. Good pitch.
Yeah. Good job, Bo.
Mm-hmm. But I could see them moving off of Segura to go get somebody better. But the markets just aren't as strong in certain positions. Like after Abreu, first base is kind of
Yeah.
Second base, really not a whole lot going on there. Like, I mean, starting pitching, there's a bunch of guys who are kind of at the end of their prime. You've got Kershaw, you've got Verlander, you've got DeGrom,
Yeah, it's definitely a weak free agency pool this year, which is why last season was so important for a lot of teams because, like the Rangers went and got Seager and Simeon just because they knew that this year was going to be weak. So, I mean,
I know you're happy about it, or at least I can assume you're happy about it, but I'm kind of shocked Nolan Arenado didn't opt out.
I'm not really shocked. I mean, he's been saying all year that he was going to opt back in, but I thought he was going to opt out to force the Cardinals to go out and get some players, but he didn't have to do that. He had a conversation with John Mozeliak, and he was like, "Listen, clean up your shit, pretty much, and go out and get some players because I'm tired of playing this bullshit thing." And it makes sense. I mean, he's committing to 5 years with the Cardinals, and if you play 5 years with the Cardinals and don't win a World Series, then you're totally screwed because he's going to be 38 by the time he's a free agent again. So,
I mean, the Cardinals have less committed to their payroll than the Phillies do next year. They only have 103 mil committed to their payroll.
yeah, they
don't have a single outfielder committed to their payroll next year.
Yeah, no, it's.
I mean, obviously,
Yeah,
Carlson, Nootbaar, and all them are pre-arbitration guys, so they don't cost nothing but pennies on the dollar anyway. But
yeah, so I mean, they need to go out and get some people. I mean, Josh and we were saying like they need to go out and get a real catcher. Sean Murphy is kind of sounding really like a popular choice for the Cardinals right now. Which I've been saying for months that I want him.
I've seen it.
I think we need to get a shortstop, which is why I want Trey Turner so bad. I do see I don't think maybe this year is the year, but I think next year they could go out and get Mike Trout if he's still on the market.
I think that there's going to be a ton of trades in the offseason, and Trout being on the move would not surprise me in the slightest. No. I mean, it's going to sound homerish of me to say it, but I think him being from Philly, like the Phillies will probably be coerced to make the best run at him, but we'll see. If I'm the Phillies, I'm giving him, if I'm going to offer to cover his Eagles season tickets. Be like, throw that as part of the deal. Like, hey, man, come here.
Yeah, I don't know what I would.
Like, fuck, I'll cover his Eagles season tickets if he comes playing for the Phillies.
Oh, man, if he and Harper became a team, oh, man, that would be good. I kind of feel like the Angels would want to pay for some of his contract, or they would at least have to.
I think that they would at this point. Like, I don't think that there's anybody that would actually, for the prospects that they would command, like, there's $36 million a year. That's a lot of money.
Yeah. I feel like if the Shohei wants to get traded, though, then I think they abandon trading Trout and trade Otani instead.
I think they keep one of the two. I think
Yeah.
Otani's probably a little bit easier to build around for them, though, just because it's two guys in one. But
Unfortunately, they just can never be good, it seemed like.
every free agent they sign just turns to dust over there, man.
Yeah.
C.J. Wilson, Albert Pujols, Josh Hammond, they were all bad.
Have you heard this thing? Per Fox for Mark Berman, Martin Maldonado used a bat last night. Albert Pujols sent him that MLB sent him. MLB considers not within the rules. It was grandfathered in for Pujols because he had been using it prior to 2010. So Martin back to using his bats. Man, they really fucked up the wording there. But he went 1 for 3 with 1 RBI. He has now switched bats. I guess that's not nearly as bad as I thought it would be. Not sure if I'm okay with Albert Pujols sending him a bat, but okay, whatever. Oh,
Yeah,
you might want to.
That would be the part that I would be looking at. God damn it, Verling. I was just hyping you up earlier.
I think they need to challenge that. I think Veerling beat that out.
I think you did too. No, they're not going to challenge it.
Oh.
But that's
they're not
what
gonna
I was
show
saying about Veerling earlier. He never takes a play off.
Yeah.
I guess when you're one of those like fringe like utility players, though, you really can't afford to.
Yeah.
Wow, I don't know how the hell that was a ball, but I'll take it.
Ooh, 73 pitches for Valdez already, so that's good. Apparently, a lot of Cubs fans are angry that the Cardinals, that Arenado didn't opt out. This guy goes, I am truly enraged. The Cardinals got Arenado from the Rockies for a song. The Rockies are paying the Cardinals to take him, and then he doesn't even opt out of his way under market deal to make them add a year or some more cash. What even the fuck?
What a bunch of fucking crybabies. Tell them to shut the fuck up. Their team was terrible anyway.
Makes me laugh. I'm never seen so many people get so angry about it.
I don't think Rockies fans have a right to be angry, you know, all 6 of them.
No, it was a Cubs fan.
Oh, what? That's even stupider. What? Oh my God, cry about it.
Because the Cubs and the Cardinals have such a rivalry.
Whatever.
Yeah. I think after this half inning, we're going to take.
Mean way under market? Like, what is the market for third baseman that $28 million a year isn't okay?
Yeah, I mean, I guess he could get 35 if he wanted. Yeah, he's still playing at an MVP type pace, but
that's why I was surprised he didn't opt out. Not necessarily to leave St. Louis, but I felt like he could have gotten more money.
Yeah,
but you know what? I'm happy to see it because I understand why they do it. You know, business is business. You want to get your money, but like to see loyalty like that, you know. Hey, save the extra few bucks, go get some dudes that'll help us win some games. You don't see that stuff anymore.
Yeah.
And I have a soft spot for the Cardinals. Oh, sweet, dude. 3-2, and we're looking at fastballs in the zone? Jesus, this is why I drink.
Oh man. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. And that's why I do not like Edmundo Sosa. Oh my gosh. Everyone was like, "Oh, how does it feel to have Edmundo Sosa be the last one to catch the last out in the wild card game against his old team?" Well, feels fine because guess what? He's a good fielder, but a sucky hitter. So, whatever. We're gonna take a quick break. Uh, Probably be back at the bottom of the inning. So, be right back. And we're back. Altuve gets a leadoff single in the bottom of the fifth. Ryan is still angry that Edmundo Sosa took a pitch that was clearly a strike.
See, this is what confuses me about baseball nowadays, right? Like 3-2, you're taught as a kid, like, go up there and protect the plate. Like, okay, it's not that simple in Major League Baseball, I understand. 3-2 and you get a fastball that's like always in the zone, like kind of middle-in-ish. Like, why are you watching that pitch go by? Like, to me,
Definitely got to protect it.
you at least got to swing at it. Like, if you swing and miss, whatever. Like, but what are you up there looking for that you didn't even think to swing at a 3-2 fastball that was in the zone? Like, if it's a 3-2 breaking ball that's nasty, starts off the plate, comes back in the zone, like, that's one. You know what? Most people would probably give up on it. Whatever. This is a fastball, man.
Yeah.
I don't get it sometimes. I would love to sit in like a hitter's meeting and just try and understand what they go over, because it just seems like sometimes analytics. Oh, Jesus fuck, dude. Why are you what? Like, speaking of pitches, I mean, I get protecting the plate pain. Damn, bro. Anyway, like, it just seems like sometimes the basics of like baseball are so lost because like it's the MLB, it's analytics, it's all this craziness. Like, I just feel like baseball basics are lost in translation sometimes.
Well, oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah. I think there are some aspects of the game that needs to stay true. You don't just. It's really bad to look at the third strike as it goes by you. It got to swing at anything close, even just to fight it off. I mean,
and like Little League, it's different because, like even in high school, most pitchers are throwing low to mid 80s. It's easier to make adjustments, right? Like in the majors, you're sitting on a fastball, as you should be, because the shit's 95 miles an hour. It's going to reach the plate in less than half a second. Like that's a little different. I get that. But to me, it's like, why are you going up to the plate in a 3-2 count looking for anything besides a fastball? It just blows my mind. Like, if he beats you with a good curveball, so fucking be it. If he beats you with a fastball and he on middle in, like, that's not okay.
There's one. Oh, man, Alvarez is fast.
I was super shocked to see him in left field, and then I realized that they were DHing Trey Mancini yesterday, and I was like, that makes sense.
I guess he hasn't been doing well for them since he's been.
That's one dude. I don't care what team he's on. I want to see him succeed.
Yeah. I was surprised when he got traded, honestly.
I was so happy when he got traded, just like at the time, because the Orioles weren't good. Like, but Adley Rutschman's one of my favorite college players ever. So I hope that the Orioles turn it around.
Well, next year, I hope that I have him being really good next year, so he better be.
I hope that they spend stupid money in the offseason.
Yeah. They were one of my favorites to go out and get a Judge in the offseason, but I don't think that's going to happen. I think they'd probably go out and get a Correa, honestly.
I guess Carlos Correa has a player option.
Yeah. And I think he's already said he's opted out of it.
Dude, that shit was so funny when he had to interview the Astros players after they won the DS.
Yeah.
Like, it's always so funny like that.
I felt that was so wrong.
Yeah, they, ESPN set that one up on purpose, but it is what it is, or MLB Network, rather.
Yordan Alvarez runs 26.4 feet per second. He is not even top 10 on the Astros right now, but he looks really fast.
That doesn't surprise me. I mean, 26.4 is like, am I reading this right? Houston's challenging?
What are they challenging? It's not the out at second, is it?
Show us a fucking replay. This is the shit I hate. Like, when they do shit, I don't care if the umpires are talking. Show me a fucking replay.
That's not going to be enough to overturn it.
Bro, if he missed the bag, I'm going to fucking shoot him. No, I didn't mean that. I'm just kidding.
I don't think it's enough to overturn, Dusty.
Interesting challenge, though.
Yeah, like I would not even thought to question that if I'm Dusty, but that's weird. Wow, this is what taking way too long.
I mean, I think he's out.
Well, yeah, I don't think there's anything like even if it's close, I don't think that he was ever able to overturn it.
I mean, in full speed, it looks, a little different. But I mean, when you slow it down, he looks way out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm glad they moved on from that. Sick pitch, Wheeler.
Is that just a like mind game? What are you shaking your head, Dusty? That I don't get what he's.
I don't get
I
that.
didn't think.
I wonder if he thinks like Philly's getting a little bit of momentum or something, or I don't.
I guess so. I thought it was a mind game, but then he was shaking his head, so I don't know.
All right, Wheeler, hone it back in now.
Maybe he thought he could overturn it, or he could screw up Wheeler's rhythm a little bit.
Well, he's screwed Wheeler up the first two pitches of this at bat. Man, that was so weird. I didn't get that at all.
Yeah, no.
Fuck.
Oh, Bregman.
To answer your question, this is Wheeler's last inning.
Oh my gosh.
Wheeler just he never looked great at any point tonight. Like he
Yeah. I guess that worked out for Dusty right there.
yeah.
If his goal was to screw up the rhythm for Wheeler, but
He's not even close now.
dang.
Well, I can't be too mad. Like I said, if they split in Houston, that's good for them. I think, being around the home crowd will get them back up, get them right. Yeah, he's just not even close.
It was going to be hard to sweep in Houston, so. But,
Yeah.
I mean, there's
four
more innings left.
This is what I tried telling Bill in the World Series preview. He's like, "Oh, the Phils were underdogs to everybody," and I'm like, Houston is quite literally far and away the best team that the Phillies are going to face at any point this postseason, and Houston has swept everybody they've faced. Like this is a good ball club, like another level of good.
Yeah, I mean, it's gonna
But
you can't just roll over on them.
Nope.
But yeah, it was definitely going to be hard to sweep in Houston. So, and this was kind of bound to happen. So,
well, I'm glad Wheeler's kind of getting lit up now. He's not like a guy that you would peg to get lit up multiple games in a row. So I'd rather him get lit up in game 2 than in game 6 if we get that far,
Yeah. I mean, yeah, this definitely has to be his last hitter. At this point, you're just wanting to save him for game 4. Right?
Will be game 6.
Or 5. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah, 6.
Yeah, Thompson doesn't do pitchers on short rest. But I'm going to get off here. My laptop's about to die, and once I plug it in, I'm going to start lagging all over the place. So,
Oh, yeah, you're fine.
all right, dude. Thanks for having me on, man. I'm sure that we'll be messaging periodically.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know,
for
as
sure.
soon as I get off of here, the Phils are going to score 3 runs anyway. This is going to be the equivalent of me leaving the bar yesterday.
Yeah, so we'll see you in a little bit then.
If they tie it up, I might be back on. All right, take
Yeah.
it easy.
Uh-huh. Ooh. Let's see. Bottom of the 5th. Ooh. Barely got that one. Phillies get out of the inning 5-0 though. Alex Bregman hits a 2-run home run. That's interesting. That's most definitely that's a brutal kick to the Phillies right now. I'm actually going to get off too for a little bit. We'll probably come back a little bit. So we'll see you later. Bye.